Mike and I have been very excited about this game. Zach, unfortunately, you're not a fan of the Dying Light.
Yeah, maybe I'm too, I don't know, prone to jump scares at 2 a.m. But as much as I want to like it, it's a tough play for me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CoinDrop podcast. This is episode 113, and we are finally back to normal. After the chaos of nonstop editing for almost 2 weeks, all of PAX is taken care of, and we will resume your regularly scheduled podcast. Joining me is my new co-host. We actually have made some changes. There was a lot of discussion over the PAX weekend, as well as the week after, to kind of discuss how we were going to move forward. And starting today, we are starting a semi-rotational host where Zach will be joining me and Chris will be joining me on and off. It won't be like each episode will be, one Zach, then one Chris, but there will be switching in between. This will allow no co-host to have to do every single episode all the time. So we'll have kind of a rotating roster so people can take days off, weeks off, whatever. Just kind of make things a little bit more fluid. And we're also going to be having I guess you would call it a CoinDrop gaming section of the YouTube. So us three, the hosts, are all going to be playing through Anthem. In the wake of it being canceled soon, we're going to start that recording up, edit all that footage together. Then you get kind of a taste of our sense of humor, us as people besides just the podcast, and watch us play a game that will soon no longer be a thing. That first episode, though, even though we're recording soon, will not go live until probably about a week after the new year, once Anthem has been fully shut down. Before I get into too much housekeeping, though, Zach, how's your week been? What have you been up to?
Oh boy. So besides work being the absolute general amount of chaos that I experience on a weekly basis, digging into some Path of Exile this week, and Borderlands 4 came out. Yeah, everyone I know that plays games is busy, unfortunately, doing other things, which is fair. And then something I may have alluded to earlier, World of Warships consumes my life. So.
You did kind of let that slip when we were talking yesterday. You will be in good company with Beasky, who is a big fan of, was he play War Thunder? I think it is.
So, yeah, I think he was playing War Thunder. Yeah, They're doing, World of Warships is doing their 10-year anniversary currently.
Nice, very cool. Very cool. Borderlands 4 is a game I want to pick up. I much like you, it's a game you have to play with friends. Playing those games solo is nowhere near as fun as playing with at least one other person in co-op.
Oh, yeah. I will say, initial thoughts before we get into it. I'm enjoying it. The reviews are a little mixed right now due to some optimization errors. For all you Monster Hunter Wilds fans out there, that's about what to expect.
The people who have been sending death threats to developers, fuck those people. Fuck those people.
Yeah, it's optimization's a little rough, but from the short amount of time I played so far, it's a callback to when Borderlands was great. Not saying that 3 was terrible or Tiny Tina's Wonderlands was awful. I love Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. But you can see they're back on the tracks of what Borderlands 1 and 2 gave us.
Awesome. I don't think I bought 3. I think I was pretty burned out after 2. That I was like, I'm good. But there was a Borderlands 4 rage room at PAX, which was really cool. I didn't get a chance to do it. I was so swamped, but there was people in there smashing shit all day. Just a little bit of housekeeping here at the top. As always, we have extra content for you guys over on Patreon at patreon.com/CoinDropPod. You can find extra content there. We've actually just recently started doing, as of the PAX episode 112, a video side to all the Patreon content as well. And the only way you get that exclusive link is by being a patron. So you get extra video content as well as the extra audio, as well as coming soon, 2 days early. So starting October, the free side of the podcast, both video and audio, will be coming out on Thursdays. Again, there's been a lot of changes, a lot of growth, a lot of very quick motion at CoinDrop, which is very interesting because that's not how things usually go. We have Chris, who is also going to be editing as well, which is allowing us to have, between Chris and Mike, a more coherent quality product for you guys. So the reason we're pushing that back off to Thursday instead of Wednesday, pushing it by a day for the free side, is it gives them each a little extra time to edit to make the product a little bit better, a little bit more quality. And that's what we want to do for you guys. So starting October, free sides will come out on Thursday. So if you become a patron, You get it 2 days early now. Pretty cool. Other than that, I have a correction from the PAX Patreon side where I was talking about Pearl Abyss. For those of you who aren't patrons, this doesn't really apply to you, but hey, you get a little peel behind the curtain here. I mistakenly said that they had the largest motion capture studio in the world. I was incorrect. They have the largest motion capture studio in Asia. So not quite the world, but still pretty big. Other than that, I don't really have anything. I finally got to sit down yesterday and play some video games for the first time since getting back from PAX. I literally have not been out of this chair for more than a few minutes or to sleep until being able to sit down and play some video games. It was real nice to be like, I'm fucking done with editing.
I mean, if you think about it, editing is almost like a video game, except it's
a lot more
all the
work.
tedious parts of it.
Yes. Yeah. Luckily, some dark synth, some lo-fi gets you through. So at a certain point, you learn your software and you just turn your brain off and go. The channel's been doing pretty great. People are enjoying the content, so I'm happy I didn't waste my time. That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into our first topic for the night, talking about not wasting time and constant updates and just nonstop work. Hello Games has pushed yet another big update for No Man's Sky. So for those of you who don't know, No Man's Sky came out 10 years ago, and it was pretty piss poor received. Worse than Monster Hunter Wilds. Easily worse than Monster Hunter Wilds.
Easily.
Everything they said they wanted to do, they did not have at launch. But over the last 10 years, they have continuously supported that game with nothing but free content. There is no DLC. There is no expansion. It has been free content for a decade from this company, which, Jesus Christ, man, let us give you some money. You got the initial sales of the game, but holy crap, dude, it's been 10 years. No Man's Sky is a phenomenal space game. It is getting really close to kind of everything we want. The last 3 updates have really pushed a lot of new content to it. And they've been actually working on their new game. Zach, you might have seen this one, Light No Fire. So that's one world the size of a world, right? And so what's happening with No Man's Sky development is they're developing Light No Fire, and it's in the same proprietary engine. So they're taking a lot of the mechanics from that and pushing it backwards to No Man's Sky. So they're actively developing one game, but still supporting the other.
You know, I remember No Man's Sky coming out. I think I was on a carrier at the time. You could track the stock margins for torches and pitchforks after No Man's Sky came out. You're like, wow, this is crazy. And I mean, just like, kudos to the developers, you know, after a decade of just sheer work. No Man's Sky, and it's been a minute since I played it, so it's been a couple years, like, but I do remember returning to it and just being, for lack of a better word, just bamboozled about how far it had come. That speaks to some dedication. And Light No Fire, the hype is back for me, seeing how much work and effort they're willing to put in to give us a product for free. The initial product that we paid for. And then, you know, the updates, the free updates, you know, they didn't say, oh, well, here's your $60 game, but we're going to need $60 in DLC if you want to play it. And you're right. After a few updates passed, I would buy DLC from them.
I mean, how far they've come, it's been huge, right? They added so much, you know, they added multiplayer for one. Real multiplayer was like one of their first big updates. And then they added cargo ships. Everything just got better over time. They have bought nothing but goodwill, right? So like, even if Light No Fire launches in as bad a state as No Man's Sky did, which I highly doubt, I do not see that happening. Even if it does, I feel like most people are going to be like, it's all right, man. We know you'll get it right. Like,
yeah.
I don't think he's going to have anywhere near the hate.
It might take some time, but we'll get there. What makes No Man's Sky great for me is that there's other games that do things that No Man's Sky does. You know, you have like your space engineers, you have your, I don't want to say void space, but I might be mixing it. You have all this whole genre, but you have No Man's Sky, which just brings all this concept in. And when I see something like Light No Fire, I see like Valheim. I see hints of Valheim in there. I see hints of RuneScape, Dragon Wilds in there. I see Enshrouded. You know, when I play No Man's Sky, I don't think of space engineers. I don't think of these other space games. I think of No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
And I hope Light No Fire will do that same thing for these games that I'm already familiar with, that I enjoy. And I think it'll be an exciting thing to see developed and launched.
I agree. Well, let's talk about the newest update, Voyagers, for No Man's Sky. They're taking stabs, man. I think they took Bethesda into a back alley and just shanked them a bunch of times, because they have added ship building to the game, first of all. So you can now build your own ship. They're stomping some teeth. They're crushing some skulls, all right? They're taking some shots. They've added ship building, so you can create your own custom ship. And going beyond that, they're taking shots at Star Citizen too, and making them walkable ships that can be crewed by your friends. So you now have real friends playing with you on your ship that you built in No Man's Sky. Again, this is a free update, as all of them have been. This is the game, just in perspective here. Was it EVE Online or was it Elite Dangerous? One of the other space games where you are basically just a pilot straight up said it's not worth the cost to develop walkable ships. I feel like Hello Games just went, hold my beer.
Yeah. And Elite Dangerous was the one I was thinking of. And even better, EVE Online, Elite Dangerous, space games that are objectively about space, but walkable ships are like, hey, it's a little hint of Starfield I see going on there. And you know what? I think I might enjoy that more than Starfield.
Not only do you have walkable ships now, you have EVAG gameplay. So you can float around in space in 0G. You can go outside your ship in space. You can have dogfights in space. This update is huge. I haven't played more than maybe 20 minutes of No Man's Sky because the last time I played it, it was still a buggy mess, and that was like 5 years ago. But holy shit, man, every update they do, I'm like, I gotta play this fucking game.
Yeah, you know, like, am I missing out? I can't miss the bus when they have, man.
There's still bugs in it. There's still glitches. There's still like wonky things. Of course, they just added this. But what I was talking about with Light No Fire, the way they got to the walkable ships and the buildable ships, they backported that from how their boats are going to work in Light No Fire. So you're going to be able to presumably build boats and crew boats in Light No Fire in a similar, if not identical fashion to what they're doing with No Man's Sky.
I'm speechless, honestly. I was not ready for sheer endurance and, you know, creativity.
Well, from my understanding, and this could be wrong, I don't know if it's still accurate information, but last time I looked, this was true. Hello Games is a development studio of 12 people. The same 12 people that it's been since the game launched. It's a group of 12 friends who wanted to set out to make a space game, and they have not grown, they have not shrunk. So when you're a team that size, it provides you some benefits and some negatives, but one of the major benefit is a clear message, a clear communication channel. And in game development, which we're actually going to talk about over on the Patreon side, communication is the key to making a good product or having one fail. And we're going to talk about that on Patreon. So if you want to hear more about that, patreon.com/CoinDropPod. Beyond that, they have implemented a better DLSS for the people who like that. So you're getting better frames out of the game, better support for that, better lighting engine, better graphics quality, just overall better quality of life changes to the game. They never stop improving it. I have to wonder if these guys are actual robots from the future, because it doesn't seem like they eat or sleep. They're just constantly jamming on No Man's Sky. And presumably Light No Fire too, right?
Again, speechless. I think I might spend some time, some bandwidth here and download it just to see, just a glimpse into it.
Yeah, I will definitely play it with you. We'll set aside some time. Maybe that'll be our game after Anthem. We all sit down and play that, or BG3. I don't know. Maybe if the Anthem playthrough gets good traction, we'll put it to a vote and people can vote which one. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I mean, No Man's Sky is one of those games I've wanted to play, but it feels very much like Minecraft, where it's a really solid single player game, but it is only made better by the more people you have playing it with you.
Yeah, I do remember from my initial few dozen hours I played, it was very craft heavy, and I was like, exploring was great, but then I was in the craft explorer loop, and I was like, this would be great if I had help. And you know, I was on the ship at the time. There was no help. I didn't have internet, so maybe with some friends I'd be far more invested, because all of this is exciting news coming from them.
Yeah. I mean, the one before this was, God, I don't remember what it was. They never stop reworking this game and reiterating on this game and making it better. So I'm really, really excited and curious to see what they do next. Hopefully we'll get maybe a playable beta or demo or something for Light No Fire sometime soon. This is the third one in, I think, 3 years now? 2 years, maybe? I don't remember, but great content. Love to see devs with actual passion and love for their product instead of just moving past it, going, okay, game's complete now, let's move on. So it's good to see that they're still supporting this game, still pumping out content, still making it better. And, you know, much like a game we're going to talk about over on the Patreon side that's coming out soon, playing with your buddies in 0G space. What's better than that?
The end of 2025 is just gonna have me swamped.
Yeah, shit, dude. And then you got 2026 with Crimson Desert. I don't know if you headed over to the Patreon side and checked out the content over there yet, but Crimson Desert's big. Like, I have adamantly said on this podcast that I'm over massive open world games, but I think Crimson Desert is going to bring me into it. Just to put it in perspective, and I guess the entire free side is getting a little taste of kind of what was going on Patreon. They call the land the continent of Paella.
The continent.
Specifically, the continent. And much like every game since 2011 Skyrim, if you see it, you can go to it. It feels big. I would not be surprised if it comes out that it takes over 1,000 hours to 100% that game. I would not be surprised by that number at all. And that comes out first quarter of next year. Yeah. So, I mean, that's Crimson Desert. I don't want to get too far off our topics for today, but No Man's Sky, obviously just as big, right? There are people who have spent thousands of hours in No Man's Sky. So, moving on to new games that are teased, recently announced to talk about. Because, Zach, did you ever play Left 4 Dead?
Oh boy. I distinctly remember, how old were we? What, 13, 12, 13, 14, playing Left 4 Dead? And it just going on, and like 2 o'clock in the morning, you're on Act 1, you're 50 feet outside the safe house door, you hear the music, the tank bursts through.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Gives you the old razzle dazzle. I jump scare myself and scream, and my dad kicks in the door, and you know, what the shit? It's 2 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. What are you doing? You have school tomorrow. And I can't explain to him what just happened. Yeah, Left 4 Dead. Nothing but fond memories on that one.
Yep, good times. Coming outside, getting attacked by freaking smokers, and then getting jumped by a hunter when you try and go help somebody, trying to sneak past the witch. Good times. Left 4 Dead, great game. Well, the lead developer of that game, Mike Booth, said that he is working on a new game with a new studio. Mike Booth was the lead creator of the most beloved Left 4 Dead game. Obviously not the only one, but his new game is going to be in that vein, pushing the genre forward. Because as we know, when you make something good, people want to copy it. And generally they just try and push out a copy and don't make the genre better. How many Vampire Survivor likes have we seen? How many uninspired Metroidvanias have we seen? How many uninspired roguelikes have we seen? How many uninspired extraction shooters have we, right? Like, if you do something cool, people want to copy it. And very rarely, but occasionally, you will get somebody who makes it better, who pushes that genre forward and does something new and unique that makes the genre better. And Mike Booth wants to do that again with his next shooter. He said, and I quote, "If you enjoyed the teamwork, the tension, and replayability of my last games, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, you will probably find this one interesting." That's kind of the tease he gave us. Just to give you a background on him, he worked at Turtle Rock until it was acquired by Valve in 2008, which is when they published Left 4 Dead 1. In 2012, he left and went to work at Blizzard on something that unfortunately ultimately never saw the light of day, whether it was canceled, trashed, whatever. Then he left after that to go work on Oculus Rift before it became Meta. And then he left that, and now he is at a company, get this, Bad Robot Games. Now, I know you know Bad Robot, right? Think back. It's not a video game thing. Bad Robot is not a video game company, but there's one movie we saw in high school about 12 times in the theaters because I was obsessed with it, and it was made by Bad Robot. Do you remember?
Yeah, I was like, Bad Robot, why do I know that? And I remember the sequence. Hang on, they made Westworld.
They made Westworld, and there was a movie that was the modern day American Godzilla. Cloverfield. There it is. Yes.
Oh my gosh, took me a second.
Yeah, that still to this day is one of my favorite monster movies of all time. The marketing and like trailers around that movie and the just lore building, great fucking film. If you've never seen Cloverfield, go see it. There's 2 other ones. They're all great. They have their own vibe and they all kind of connect, but you really got to be, it's such just great movies.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, but Bad Robots Games, those teams are coming together to make a video game studio, which is very interesting.
I mean, I like Westworld.
Yeah, Westworld was freaking, yep. And I liked Lost, despite everybody being like, oh, the ending sucked. It's like, yeah, Look, man, you write something for 12 years and then try and figure out how to end it.
Go watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah, pretty sure Lost probably has a better rating than Game of Thrones at this point.
At least for the final season.
Yeah, no joke. So he wants to expand on the formula that he kind of set out with Left 4 Dead. And get this, you can sign up for the playtest right now. We'll have a link in the description, as well as I'll make sure Mike flashes it on screen here for you guys if you want to just read it out. It goes to their website. You say your information, and then it asks you who referred you. So do us a favor and say CoinDrop Podcast in that little block, if you wouldn't mind, just CoinDrop Podcast. You can even shorten it to CoinDrop Pod. Don't care. But if you want to fill that out and it asks you who referred you, let them know. We sent you over. While he was at Valve, he also worked on Counter-Strike Condition Zero, and believe it or not, Team Fortress 2. So the man has a lot of like good titles under his belt.
Speaking of Left 4 Dead, I want to say I did enjoy its spiritual successor, Back 4 Blood, but it didn't have that getting jump scared at 2 a.m. by a tank and having dad come in and scream at you feeling that Left 4 Dead had, you know?
It was just a different time of your life. That's what made Left 4 Dead great.
Maybe it was maybe a different time. I don't know.
I remember LAN parties. I remember my 21st birthday on active duty in the dorms at Fairchild Air Force Base. I had my buddy Sweeney, Gintner, and Kazuki come over to my dorm. And we all grabbed our Xboxes, plugged them in, and we fucking jammed on some Left 4 Dead original on ultra hard mode, hardcore mode, whatever it was, until the goddamn sun came up. I mean, just great fucking memories of those games, man. Yeah, so Turtle Rock, Back 4 Blood, they did make that spiritual successor. I never got around to playing it. I heard it was a pretty solid spiritual successor.
It's tough making a 4-player co-op zombie game. We mentioned earlier, everybody wants to make all the rage, right? So
Right.
You had your Left 4 Deads that were awesome, and then you had your stuff like World War Z. I didn't mind World War Z, but like,
Yeah,
you could see that the attempt. And so Back 4 Blood, following the same naming ideology, and the gameplay the weapons felt nearly the same, and they tried improving on it. They give you like modifications. Their odd part was it was kind of like a deck builder.
what? Really?
Yeah, so you assigned cards to give you skills as a survivor, which let you do better in the acts. While this is all fine and dandy, anyone who's ever played a deck builder, right? If you've played Slay the Spire, played many deck builders, but it's like, I'm stuck on one. Every deck builder, you can play it to build a deck that is reasonable, or you can play it and know what you're doing to be dynamic with the choices it gives you that makes you good. The problem with Back 4 Blood is it's meant to be a 4-player co-op game. Sometimes you get some people that you worry about the future of the human race. And you're like, who in their right mind, why would you choose these? Like, why would you do this? And you can't tell if they're serious or trolling. That's what kind of ended up sapping the fun out. So you really had to have like your dedicated pod. Even if you only had you and one friend, you could be the sweatiest gamer gods there ever was, but you're still not beating max difficulty, even with stacked decks and weapon attachments. Like, you kind of needed 4 players that only what they were doing. And that's what held it back ultimately, I think, is it was too reliant on the deck system to make your survivors strong. That's kind of like what ended up killing it for me, is like, yeah, I'm not grinding out act after act after act to get these skill cards, to build this deck, to have to deal with rocks of people.
We had a guy at work we constantly called Box of Rocks for kind of the same reason, where it's like, bro, do you have anything going on up there? Your decision-making skills are are you human? I'm not sure you're human. There are some people you meet in life and you wonder whether or not simulation theory is real, that you're just talking to an NPC robot. It happens to all of us. I guarantee listeners have had that happen.
You're playing with the people who go to play poker and they just all in every hand despite what they have. And you're like, do you even know what you're doing? And you're like, nah. The answer is no. The answer is no. They're just there. Well, the game itself was fun, and they did have a very memorable part of a level. Same like Left 4 Dead. There's distinct parts of Left 4 Dead that you remember. There's one in Back 4 Blood.
Top of the hospital, man. Left 4 Dead 1, Act 1, No Mercy, top of the hospital. Cannot tell you the joy and terror and rage. Yeah, Back 4 Blood had one that was called the Barroom Brawl. You're in a bar, but there's a karaoke machine that's going off, and it's attracting the zombies, but the karaoke machine song that plays is randomized, so you get some really jamming music, right? I'll give you like basically the same vibes as Halo 2 Blow Me Away. You're just amped up and ready to go. Like Barroom Brawl was that for Back 4 Blood. The rest of the game, you're like, you're never going to reach that level. You're just kind of like, why would I want to do this? I'll just go play Barroom Brawl again. there is news that Turtle Rock is actually working on Back 4 Blood 2. I don't know what stage they're at in their development, but they are working on a sequel. Maybe they're taking some of that criticism of the deck to heart, and they'll ditch it or revamp it or do something else, you know? At least they didn't do what, you know, so many other people do and just cash in on a good idea. They actually attempted to iterate on it, which is important. Unfortunately, in this case, it sounds like it just didn't work out in the best interest.
Well, the implementation was there, and like it was fairly balanced. The problem was, you know, as the saying goes, you can make something idiot-proof, and they'll just make a better idiot.
Yes.
There's always like you can't make a system that works for everybody and then make it a co-op game and expect that to work, because you're going to end up with players who don't understand the system, and it just makes the game worse for the other players in co-op.
You could almost apply that to real life in the political state of America.
Yeah.
Replace game with life.
Not to sidebar everything.
Oh, that's what we do with CoinDrop.
That's what we do. World of Warships is truly random in its skill-based matchmaking. There is none when you play random battles. You get pure random rolls. The only thing that it matches is ship class usually and tier of ships against that you're facing. But just as fate would have it, you know, usually probably a solid amount of mouth breathers, and the enemy team is a pro league from like South Korea that plays this game 20 hours a day. And you're like, oh, great, I'm going to have a fantastic time. That's just kind of like the problem with World of Warships. There's a mod that lets you see other people's, what their equipment they have. I had to disable it. You see some people using just the most asinine builds and skill combos on their ship. And you're like, oh boy, why did you choose this?
I mean, despite Back 4 Blood having this rather questionable card system that works for some and not for others, it is sitting at roughly 24,000 positive reviews. So people do like it, which means hopefully whatever this game is that Mike Booth is working on next will be great. I mean, I signed up for the alpha. I'm sure you're probably going to sign up for the alpha. I'll make sure to send you the link.
Oh, please do.
And again, it'll be in the show notes, as well as I'm sure Mike flashed it on screen. If he didn't then, please do it now. And then Zach, you've got some news for us. We talked about Tarkov, kind of. I mentioned in our CoinDrop crew chat that I was in talks with PR after the not so great impression from PAX, and you mentioned SPT.
Since I'm new, I'll talk a little bit of a background. I love roguelikes, and because that gameplay translates to extraction shooters fairly well, I love extraction shooters. Problem is, I'm getting old. My eyes kind of suck. Russ can tell you 20 years ago, I didn't wear these. And, you know, maybe it's just my reflexes aren't there. I don't want to talk ill of EFT, but we talked earlier, EFT is kind of plagued by cheaters. I don't like hiding in the bush, wasting the small amount of time I have to play a game just to get domed by some dude across the map. And he VoIPs me, my home address, my social security number at the same time. Like, it's hard to invest my time in that. I've played Arena Breakout. I've played Escape from Tarkov. I've played Gray Zone Warfare. So Escape from Tarkov, there's a small community that created a mod. It's effectively a standalone. SPT is for single player Tarkov. So it actually uses Escape from Tarkov infrastructure, so you need to have it downloaded onto your computer. They will ban you if they see that you're using a pirated copy of EFT. While it's not developed or made or sanctioned by Battlestate Games, this community that runs SPT, they very much ensure that the people that are using their mod are people who are still buying SPT. That way, Battlestate Games doesn't hit them with a cease and desist. The real thing I want to talk about, it's single player Tarkov. So you're using the game. This mod replaces the PMCs with AI. So you don't have to worry about cheaters. You have AI that you can tune to any level. You can make them as cheesy as you want. You can make them Terminators if you have a death wish. Yeah, it gets crazy. The even more interesting part is not only does the community make this mod, the community also makes mod packs for the mod. You have stuff down to the realism of like, hey, I made an FOV slider. I made easier unlock for traders. I made the whole black market that you can access differently. And you have mods that make the game far more realistic than what EFT already tries to do. Like, hey, you got shot in the chest through your plate. You can't bandage that until you take your plate carrier off.
Nice.
So you have to physically like remove your plate carrier and you have to bandage it. Bandages don't just heal you, they just stop the bleeding. You don't really recover health. And like And this is all tunable. You know, there's a mod pack called the Dad mod. You put on a bandana that they put in the game, and now you're invincible. You're like, all right, cool.
Yes.
Let me just cool. We're gonna put in 100 Terminator PMCs in a factory, and we're gonna go at it. There's
first blood.
Yeah, right. There's people who are putting in new guns and new gun modifications. Smoke grenade that will call in an A10 airstrike.
Jesus. All right.
Yeah, sweet. It's tunable in every sense, and the reason I love it is there's mods that help for the more visually disabled people. I personally use a mod that's like a radar. Maybe it's I play too much Halo in the day, but maybe EFT is just too drab for me. But the thing that holds me back from playing EFT is when you get shot. Talk about there's just no indicator that you're being shot.
Fucking none at all, which is infuriating.
None. There's none, and like everything blends in. Maybe that's just a fact of realism, but I can't play that. There's a mod that gives you a pause button. Anyone with kids will tell you how hard to play EFT with kids. Like I can't just pause this, but SPT, I could just hit the pause key on my keyboard, and lo and behold, I can get up and go do whatever. So if you're looking for a change of pace, SPT is I would absolutely look into. There is a co-op mode. I think it's out already, the Edge of Darkness, I think. But SPT, just by the sheer ability to implement any mod that you want, additional traders, additional guns, items. And there's another mod. This one is not as, I don't want to say sanctioned as SPT. It's called Project Fika. And that's what allows you to play co-op. Battlestate Games doesn't like that one because they don't like SPT now being co-op. It won't get you banned. EFT won't ban you because you're playing all offline. Project Fika is just basically creating a virtual LAN between the people that you're playing with. So if you still want to play EFT, it doesn't affect you. Don't play SPT and EFT at the same time on the same instance.
Yeah.
That will get you banned.
Honestly, that's the thing that's the hardest about getting older. We have other responsibilities now. And I've noticed a massive shift in the games that I play, moving away from, like PUBG or competitive shooters, because my eyes are getting worse. My reaction times are getting worse. And then just I need to go take care of my daughter. I need to go do this. I need to go do that. Now I play grand strategy games like Crusader Kings and have to deal with my fucking uncle who's uprising because his brother died and now his nephew is taking over the empire, and he's like, oh no, I'm super cool, I'm gonna wage an independence war against you. It's like, bro, I just took the throne, Unc, come on. But I can pause that.
What's the unclipped? I just joined this conversation. Guess I gotta put my uncle down. Whoa, you all right over there?
Yeah, that Baldur's Gate for the umpteenth time, because it's pausable games, single player narrative games, pausable. There's a part of me that misses that competitive shooter, specifically Halo Team SWAT. Still miss Halo Team SWAT, freaking wrecking Team SWAT, 20-to-1 KD ratios and shit like that. It's interesting to see how things shift as you get older and become a dad and go like, all right, well, I've got other responsibilities. So it's cool to know that there's SPT. I am curious though, because we talked about this kind of briefly on the Patreon side. Tarkov is about to launch their own SPT kind of thing, right? Their story mode is coming, and it's a co-opable PvE story. So I'm curious if SPT is just gonna like implement that, or how that's gonna work for them, because now Tarkov is native supporting Trio's PvE experiences with a story.
So the story mode is new for sure. I need to look into that. They do Edge of Darkness. I think it's called Edge of Darkness. I have to look. I haven't played EFT in a hot minute because I only play SPT now.
It's the only thing I would play.
Yeah. Edge of Darkness did come out with a co-op mode. It doesn't cross progress with PvP instance. So your hideout and your stash is completely separate from that. And it lets you play with other PMCs in a co-op setting on all the maps. But it's just vanilla EFT. And you're basically only going up against, I think, scabs. In SPT, despite being on the same version, there is no co-op option. I can't just like click co-op and I'm like, oh, let me just go in the co-op instance on SPT. I would imagine that the story mode might follow that same path of, it's implemented in EFT. And since you have to own EFT to play SPT, if you want to play it, go play EFT. But SPT is solely just more for the sandbox. I want to use mods in their own little environment, and I don't have to worry about Battlestate Games or hackers.
Kind of going back to what we talked about on the Patreon exclusive episode that we did last week. If Play Safe ID got Tarkov and PUBG, that would increase their sales, it'd increase their player base exponentially, right? Because now you've got this software that basically says, hey, you get one. And if you get caught hacking, cheating, anything like that, any game that's on this PlaySafe ID roster, you don't play it anymore. That would be a cool bit of kit. So we'll see where that goes, because they actually got some good funding. We talked about that over on Patreon. You guys can head over there to hear that episode once it's up. I think I'm going to try and get it up by next week. I needed a break from editing. I wasn't about to just go and do more. But any other thoughts on Tarkov?
If you bought Gray Zone Warfare just to play the co-op on Gray Zone Warfare, like myself, you'll like SPT. If you own the game, give it a shot.
Good stuff. Again, what they showed with the story of Escape from Tarkov, where they're going with that, what's coming out in November when they go to 1.0 release, is really interesting. It's fascinating. The story seems really intriguing. It's really just the fact that I have no idea when I'm getting shot that pisses me off.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
Well, let's head over to our quickfire news, and we'll roll right through this. Starting this off, for those of us out there who are old like Zach and I, you might recognize the game publisher Acclaim. They're old. They haven't been around for a long time. They actually went bankrupt, if I remember correctly, in 2004. And they have not published a game since. Well, Acclaim is back. And I don't mean they're back in a sense that somebody bought the title and reworked it and a new company is Acclaim. No, Acclaim is still Acclaim. The original people, the original publisher has returned, original logo and all. I mean, it's straight out of the 90s, that logo. They're back, and they just had a showcase. Unfortunately, they didn't really show anything that great. A lot of it seemed very uninspired, and it seemed like, again, just, hey, this is a cool game that people like, let's make our version. It's kind of what we got. So listing these off real quick, there's one that I do want to talk about that does look really interesting to me, because it's a genre we haven't seen a new entry in probably a decade. So we'll talk about that in a second. The first game they showed off was a rhythm-based hacking game that I swear to God looked exactly like one of the games I saw at PAX, even though they said world premiere, so did not look anything new. It's a move to the beat hacking weird game. Music's cool, but I'm not a big rhythm game fan outside of classic DDR or Guitar Hero, I guess.
My knees are all wrong. Guitar Hero.
Then they showed off a new pixel basketball game, which felt very much like NBA Jam of the past, so that's kind of cool, but again, more of the same in a sense. Another game which looked like their take on a Vampire Survivors game, a top-down pixelated cat pressure wash simulator game, a bland-looking Metroidvania that didn't see anything super unique about it. The art style seemed very drab, didn't grab me the way Volunteer Ascension, the Ascension did, or Altered Alma. There's nothing really in there that looked very unique and something that would push the genre forward, which, you know, a Silk Song to compete with, you would think.
Yeah, exactly. Right? You think
Right.
like that's it. That the market's there. That's done.
Yeah.
Silk Song is there.
Yeah. You should probably not do any more Metroidvanias for a while. So let's move past that, developers, because Silk Song's going to be the thing. And then you got Volunteer Ascension and Altered Alma. You don't need anything else right now.
Yeah.
You're good. Then they had another almost looked interesting game, and then it turned out to be just another package delivery game, but it's the original GTA 1 and 2. You remember how they were like top-down open world?
Yeah.
It was that kind of camera style, and it was a package delivery game. So just like Don't Be Late or whatever the hell, all of those other, like, didn't look anything new. Then they had a pixelated Western side-scroller game that looked like Mega Man, to the point where the screen stopped, you move to the next screen. Screen stopped, so it was like, oh, all right.
Who are they catering to?
That's, dude, I genuinely don't know, because I'm like, all right, everybody who's played Mega Man knows Mega Man X is the better version of Mega Man, because Mega Man X changed everything for Mega Man. So for them to make a Mega Man style game instead of a Mega Man X game, interesting choice.
They went out of business 2004. They come back 20 years later, and they're like, our demographic
Hasn't changed. Yeah. But now there's the game that I do want to talk about. They announced a new snowboarding game. And honestly, at first when I saw it, I was like, is this a new SSX Tricky? It's not. It's a completely new franchise called Hyper Yuki. But the art style really reminded me of old Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future. So like super color poppy, cell shaded kind of style, but it's a snowboarding game. And I immediately got like 1080 vibes, right? Yeah, I could get in on this. So that one caught my attention because that's a unique game. We don't see racing snowboarding games anymore. I can't remember the last one I
No.
played.
Yeah, that Ubisoft one, but it was more than just snowboarding.
They had Steep, which I think was a snowboarding game, right?
Yeah,
and then they had like Riders Republic,
like
yeah, and that was like mountain biking, snowboarding, all the extreme sports was Riders Republic. I think Steep might have been the last one that I played that was like a true snowboarding game, and even that was like, it wasn't a racing game. There was so much to do in that game, it was almost confusing. It's like, why am I doing it? It almost felt like it wanted to be Tony Hawk Underground, but it was nowhere near that good. Had potential, but wasn't quite there. There is one more snowboarding game I want to mention. I don't remember what it's called, but it's actually on the Meta Quest. I don't know if it's on other VR headsets, but it's actually made by the original 1080 team. So it's a snowboarding game in VR that honestly works really well and feels and plays like old school 1080. I played it in the off season when I wasn't snowboarding. I was like, man, I feel like I'm shredding. It feels really good. The last game they, air quotes for audio listeners, announced was Katanaut. And some of you might be like, I haven't heard of that. Well, this game was announced a little while ago, and this is a space 2D side scroller, Dead Space meets Metroidvania game where you play as a ninja in space with katana. It's kind of cool.
Okay.
It's on the precipice of being unique, I guess is the best way to say it. Almost unique. Yeah. But this is a game that was announced a while ago, and it looks cool, so they showed it off at the end of their showcase, and I was honestly like, wait, that was it? Okay, Acclaim.
All right.
Welcome back from 2004. You're 20 years have gone by, and you guys are still pushing games like it's 2004. Got it. Okay, good luck. Good luck.
What was the rage in 2004?
Let's see. What was the highest selling game? What was the highest?
Was it Halo 2?
Might have been. Let's see. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was the highest selling game of 2004, released in October of 2004. Top selling console game of the year. 5.1 million copies sold by January 2005.
Okay, so my Halo knowledge is still not bad. It's still there.
Halo 2 did come out that year. It did.
It was November, though.
Top games of 2004, we saw Tony Hawk Underground 2, Gran Turismo 4, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Half-Life 2, 2004, Halo 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Ninja Gaiden, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, the only Pokemons that ever existed ever, Prince of Persia Warrior Within, World of Warcraft, and you had Fable, Far Cry. Man, 2004 was a good year. Flat Out, Killzone, Katamari, Monster Hunter, Red Dead Revolver, Sacred. Great games. Great year.
I'm not shocked that Acclaim was not able to cut it in 2004. That's a tough year.
That's a lot of great games. Yeah, that's a tough one. So, I mean, they're back. I was honestly really excited when I got the hush email. Hey, we're coming back. We're going to do this press release thing. And then ultimately disappointed by what they had to show.
See what comes of it.
Yep. Wish them the best of luck. I mean, if you like Vampire Survivors, now you've got a new one, right? Like, that's just not my genre of game. I don't care for that. If you like basketball games, you've got a new one. If you are a die-hard fan of Metroidvania and have beat every Metroidvania game out there that's significantly better than this, like Blasphemy 2, Hollow Knight, Shovel Knight, Silksong, Metroid, Castlevania 2, Castlevania Simon's Quest, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid, Super Metroid. Like, if you've beaten all the Metroidvanias, I guess you've got a new one coming.
Yeah, you got a new one. What's the because I'm a roguelike guy, and the only Metroid that I really like, a Rogue Legacy, technically a Metroidvania. You got your Rogue Legacy, and you have your Dead Cell. There's a Metroid for everyone.
There sure is. There's a Metroidvania for everybody. Yeah, I don't know. I wish them the best, but we'll see what they do.
Yeah, we'll see.
Digital Extremes, the developers behind Warframe. Jesus, I wanted to say Ninja Soul. I don't know where that was. What the fuck? I don't know. The developers behind Warframe, their new game, Soulframe, just had a dev stream and talked about the Soulframe preludes, what's coming in the new update for those who are in the pre-alpha. And just like what we mentioned with the Left 4 Dead spiritual successor game that Mike Booth is making, you can sign up for Soulframe if you want. I'll have that link in the description as well. Hopefully Mike flashes it on screen here. But they just announced that they're 11th Prelude update is coming out later this month to the people in the closed alpha. This will include a new quest line that will allow you the ability to unlock and create a bear-inspired armor set. Sounds cool. I like bears. I like armor. Seems cool. Backing up here a bit, Soulframe is not a Souls-like game. A lot of people immediately think it is, so let me just clear that right now. It is not a prequel to Warframe. This is an entirely new IP, new universe, new everything, separate game completely. This is a much more fantasy, mystical, I don't even know how to describe it. It's a very interesting looking game. Highly recommend you check it out. Hopefully we have some footage here for you on screen. It's very interesting looking, but they do have signups for pre-alpha. You can actually reserve your character name that you want in that signup. So kind of cool little feature that they've got. So you get the new armor set, new quest line, a new armor transmogging and custom color feature, which really cool they're adding that so early. A lot of games, including Baldur's Gate, does not have native support for transmog. And I think in an RPG, that should be like a must. So really cool that Digital Extremes is putting that in the game as early as they are, as well as custom color features. There are 3 starting factions in the game, which the last time I looked up anything for this, I had no idea that they were even planning on implementing factions. So obviously they've made leaps and bounds since I first heard of Soulframe. There are 3 starting factions, and as this update comes, each one will start with their own unique armor set. Presumably different stats, different appearance, different benefits and detractors, right? And then of course you can sign up for the alpha access, links down below and hopefully on screen one more time. Did you know about Soulframe before now?
No, I've heard about it. Not terribly huge into Warframe. I can appreciate it for what it was, but I'll allude to it. A lot happened to me for the first Destiny. I was on deployment when it came out, became big. So when I got home, like I kind of missed the bus on it. It's like, why do I even play it? I don't know what's going on. Never got into it.
Warframe has changed so much since then that I don't even recognize the game. It is an entirely new game. The last time I booted it up, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what any of this content is. They have done nothing but expand on that game, and just like No Man's Sky, it's all free expansions. There's still an economy issue because they do have a premium currency, things of that nature, but the game itself is free. And I mean, it's pretty enjoyable for what it is, but it's also kind of got a card building system to it. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I picked it up, maybe a few months ago with our old mutual, and just to play it a bit because, I was like, he doesn't have that much time. Like I enjoyed playing it with him, but like I didn't have any reason to play it by myself.
And I think I've noticed that trend to where like I'm an adult now. I have adult friends who have lives, who have kids. I need to play more single player stuff that's fun by itself as a single player game, and occasionally be able to organize something to get together for a game night and have some fun with friends. But it's another one of those that, I probably wouldn't play Warframe without somebody being like, yo, let's play some Warframe. All right. Moving on. Speaking about Acclaim one more time, Katanaut is actually doing a Katana giveaway. So Acclaim is really pushing Katanaut, and they're going to be doing a giveaway that you can sign up for. Not a lot of information on this yet, but basically they're giving away a real katana that on one side says Katanaut, and on the other side has the Acclaim logo. So it looks pretty cool. I'll put a link to their socials. All they say in the email that they sent me is, for more information, keep an eye on @PlayAcclaim's social media channels. So
we get like a Galactic. I don't know. Like, Katana's cool and all, but
an
M16 or not? Yeah,
There are more weapons in the game than just the katana. It's just like you always have the katana, and then you get like other weapons, right? Has a bit of dismemberment, but it's pixelated 2D, so like, not quite the same vibe. But and then Zach, we have some updates from you.
I'm a fairly often alpha tester for everything. There's a lot of games that I play that I think will be fantastic when point launches. So one of the ones I want to talk about that I've played in alpha extensively, and anyone who's spent any time in the mine will immediately know, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor will be hitting 1.0 on the 17th. If you haven't had a chance to play this, it's been in early access for roughly over a year now. And I don't want to say it's like your run-of-the-mill roguelite, Deep Rock Galactic slap over it. If anyone's played Deep Rock Galactic, 4-player co-op, PvE instance-based game. Rock and Stone Brothers. This is more geared on a roguelite survival experience, wave-based with Deep Rock Galactic themes, and you're still a dwarf. Not so heavy on the mining. It is more of a top-down. You're not playing first person. It is still very fun, and they're doing implementations that you don't normally see in roguelites. There's a lot of future progression paths that I'm glad to see in this game that you don't really see in others. Like, oh, you unlock skill, do better. It definitely has the Deep Rock Galactic feel, and as anyone else knows, Deep Rock Galactic also has free season content, so I would expect the same of this. I've been holding off on playing it because they were launching on the 17th, so I've been like, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to spoil it for me. It's one of the things I would look out for. The other game, speaking of co-op, we have Morgenstern, more extraction based. I think the highlight of it is your team's out, extract, that's it. You lose everything. But if that happens to you in Morgenstern, get to turn into a pig, and you have one last chance as a pig to extract and get your loot out. Getting to play in some hilarious sense with your friends that makes the game spectacular. I'm excited to see it. Speaking of 1.0 releases, I love Balatro. Local Thunk came out today, so there's a Reddit post, a small news blurb. The 1.1 release for Balatro, which is kind of a big deal because 1.0 on Balatro has been out for a hot minute now, basically since launch. There's been bug patches and whatnot, but the 1.1 update has been delayed till 2026. It's unfortunate, but if anyone who's followed Balatro from the beginning, you'll know that Local Thunk, basically the sole developer for this. I'm personally fine with them saying, hey, we need the extra time. So while it is disappointing that 1.1 is pushed, I think that 2026 is still not too far away for all you straight flush fans. And, I'm going to say it, Hex cards are amazing. Use your Spectro decks. That's all I got.
I'm going to pretend to know what half of that means. I don't know Balatro anywhere near as much as I'd like to. But yeah, it is one of those games that I'm like, I'm not into deck builders. This game looks good. And the fact that is it still a solo dev? Because I know it started as a solo dev.
90% sure it's still just Local Thunk doing all the work. And I will say, just for you alone, it is on mobile. So if you're looking for time sync on your phone.
There's one single mobile game that I enjoy, and it's Downwell.
It's rare to mention something I haven't heard of.
All right, so this is a Devolver Digital game, and it's a roguelike. And it's a very simple game. You have 3 buttons. You have a left, a right, and a jump and shoot button. It's the same button. It's pixelated, and the premise of the game is you fall down a well, and you kill monsters as you fall. You collect gems, and you get power-ups and upgrades each level you complete. The music's really solid. The sound effects are really solid. Like $2.99, I think, on the Play Store. Super cheap. No ads, no bullshit, no gotcha. Buy it, you've got it. It is the single best mobile game ever made because it's exactly what a mobile game should be.
I just installed it. I'll let you know I'll let you know what I think about it next podcast.
Yeah, it's also on Steam. It's on all the consoles. Like, it's a great cell phone game. You got 5 minutes waiting for a bus. Play some fucking Downwell. Just really good, quick and out. Highly recommend. Well, with that is the end of our freeze side for the night, guys. So thank you so much for joining us. Zach, let's head over to Patreon and talk some more about kind of failed game development over there. But before we go, do you have any final words for the audience on your first official full-length CoinDrop podcast episode?
Oh boy, putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
Just glad to be a part of this. You want to ping me or talk about any sort of extraction or roguelite, or God bless you want to mention the words World of Warships to me or World War II history, I'll talk for days. So I'll cut my things short there because I will become a chatty Cathy.
Well, head over to our Discord and you can blow up Zach's phone with all your thoughts of War Thunder and things like that. We've got the Discord. Yeah. Everybody's welcome over there. You can find the links on our YouTube, on our link tree, on our Patreon. It's everywhere. Join us, hang out, play some games. We chat in there all the time, and we actually record on Discord. So when we're recording the podcast, you'll know because we'll be in this little private channel that you can't get into.
Unless you're an escape from Tarkov cheater. Yeah, they're in this channel right now with us.
They're lurking. All right, guys. Thanks again for joining us on episode 113. Look forward to seeing y'all next week. And as always, fuck Ubisoft, fuck EA, fuck Nintendo, and tell your mom I said hi.